Welcome to this edition of nasscom BCG India Means Innovation podcast. I'm excited today to have as my guest a technologist, a customer experience zealot, Gilles Mabire, who is the Chief Technology Officer for Continental Automotive. Gilles, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Wonderful. Gilles, why don't we get started with maybe taking a sort of a long-term view of where we are from a global auto industry and in the context of the technological advancements that are happening with cars becoming code and wheels. What major trends do you anticipate happening in this decade and in the decade after, not from a continental lens, but from a broad industry lens, including the ICE versus EV and those areas?
First of all, if we look at our industry as such globally, and it's valid for every regions, we grew the car technology very dynamically, means electronic was at the core of the evolution, software became a big element, and we have reached now a certain complexity because if you look at a car today, processing power is significantly higher than an airplane, and a complexity is to some extent as well not to be underestimated. But the challenge in front of us is we need to change that concept because the complexity will continue to increase, and we have reached with the current architecture, the current system, a limit that we cannot afford anymore. And we need to rethink the architecture of the vehicle in a way that the car will be part of a larger ecosystem, not only a single object, but a part of a larger ecosystem. Connecting a car to a charging infrastructure is connecting that car to a different ecosystem. Connecting a car to a mobility environment, to a cloud is a new rule in the game. And of course, we need to adopt the right recipe to make it happen seamless, and at scale. And of course, for us as industry players, we need to make that change. It's called software-defined vehicle everywhere, but at the end of the day, is to adapt the architecture, first of all, to cope with that complexity, and second, to please as well the end user, because the IT industry, the consumer industry, have set a certain reference on the market, what people like and what they don't.
Yeah.
And that is the challenge we need to answer.
Wonderful. So if you take that backdrop, Gilles, and look at what is the vision that Continental Automotive has for the future, again, help me, think through what are you focused on for the next, few years of this decade, and what's around the corner in the next decade from a continental lens.
Yeah. We've said for ourselves, we want to drive the mobility. The mobility will be safe, will be excited, and will be autonomous. This being said, that technically define more or less our playground to succeed in that domain. And out of that, we want, of course, to create value and want to capture value for shareholders, for people, and by creating ultimately better product than any competitors. We need to be extremely strong in technical and system understanding, not only the car as a system, but the entire ecosystem where the car is playing a role. We need to understand how to break down that complexity into manageable elements and that irrigate as well our portfolio to make sure that we prepare the right product at the right point of time. And this complex mechanism is supported by the software-defined vehicle approach that irrigate into the organization all elements, developing faster, using cutting-edge technologies, and transforming the organization and the way we develop to be the partner of choice.
Got it. I've heard you say the word ecosystem a couple of times, and I had read a quote that you had put out that said, "We are shaping the entire ecosystem from the road to the cloud." And this was part of a wider quote. I love that part, the road to the cloud bit, right? Elaborate a little bit more, Gilles, on what is this ecosystem, and as the CTO, what is the vision that you want to bring from a products and an offerings perspective with that frame of ecosystem and the road to the cloud comment?
First of all, we have not to be naive. The game is changing, and we want and we will capture a portion of that new game. And the value is shifting, partially from the hardware to the software, means vertically, partially from the onboard into the car to the offboard, and therefore from the road to the cloud, which also close the loop by from the virtual to the real in terms of developments, answer two questions. what we want to offer, means what are the different stakes into that game, from the hardware, middleware, operating system, software as a product, function, data, and of course cloud. And on the other hand, on how to offer that to our customers, how to use artificial intelligence, virtualization, continuous integration testing, and all of these elements is on the how. We cannot claim to offer the best product if we do not help our customer to how they can adopt them. And both are equally important. Basically, ecosystem means for us having no religion on how to make it. If we find a partner which will help us to gain speed, which will help us to go directly to the right point of technology, we will embed that partner. Therefore, we do not want to fight against others, but embed them, bring them together into what I call a larger ecosystem, sometimes with our customers, sometimes with our traditional supplier, sometimes with IT company, and we partner largely because the go-to-market is getting different forms. It's no more a vertical approach where OEM are dictating to tier 1 to tier 2, and so on and so forth. We are in a by far horizontal approach, and that only works if we find partners having the same goal and the same appetite and combining forces, joining forces together.
So if I take this definition of new mobility and this stack that you mentioned, right? It's a complex combination of chips and cloud and mechanical and digital electronic sensors, you name it, right? It's getting more and more softwareized, right? From a systems thinking perspective, right? What are some of the challenges and how do you define the new architecture and then the where to play from a Continental lens versus what you just said? Where do you partner, with the OEMs? Where do you partner with, completely different, players in the IT ecosystem, et cetera? How does that look like from your lens?
Our job is so wonderful that we have plenty of challenge in front of us. There is one which is clearly visible is if you look regionally in different zone, Asia, when we speak Asia, we need to differentiate China, of course, Korea, Japan, and India. We have Europe as well, you have US, and not every region is getting to the same point at the same speed. First observation. Second one, all customers are slightly different. You have premium ones, you have more generic one, and you have more entry and generic one. Therefore, the solution, when we speak about architecture that we need to bring to them, are significantly different. We need to have the building blocks that are able to cope with the diversity of customer regions we need to serve to maximize the economy of scale, but how we assemble those building blocks may be different from one other to the other, from one customer to the other. The second topic, which is as well different, is the expectation from customer. In the past, if I simplify a bit, we were offering something ready to eat, more or less. We were trying to package hardware and software into a type of product and minimize the variance for everyone. And the customer are not willing to eat the same thing now. We need to have a kind of a la carte approach where each and every piece of our menu, which are sometimes hardware, middleware, software functions, for themselves are competitive in terms of functionality, cutting edge in terms of technology offering, and extremely attractive in terms of price. And that is something we need to offer in that sense, because not all customers will buy everything at the same time and everywhere. And for us, it's an opportunity because we have all of these pieces, but we need to package them in the right way.
Okay, wonderful. So, in this environment, and, we're sitting in, a very massive technology center that you have, innovations historically in core engineering have been spaced out over a lot of years, historically, right? And sometimes even decades. In contrast, today, we're seeing in the digital world with digital twins, with SDV now, they're compounding far more rapidly. Do you foresee any challenge in managing this, fast rate of innovation, within the auto industry in particular, and how do you see that playing out?
If we take for granted that the majority of innovation will be triggered by software, we also implicitly accept that the entry barrier will decrease because it's extremely complex to make a complex hydraulic system in a car.
Correct.
It's different to develop even a complex software and offer superior value. And at the end of the day, I'm convinced that the availability of software-based technology will be spread largely on a worldwide basis, but the difference will come on how you make it different from your competitor. If you take the example of the PC, for example, and the tools of virtual communication, we all have experienced during the COVID time. I would not name some user, but everyone has an idea which solution is working better than the other. The common denominator is the same PC, same microphone, same camera. The experience may be different. Where is it coming from? Software. Therefore, same functions applied in a different way create completely different uniqueness, and that is where the secret sauce, so to say, is coming from. Ability to understand a problem, to create a function that works better, that needs less hardware processing power, that creates uniqueness, and for that, to make it better, you need to understand what are the technology underneath that you can access into the car to improve your function and make it better.
So I think what I'm hearing you say is that actually with the lower barrier to entry, I think driving innovation automatically becomes faster. We just have to keep pace with it and do the same. Okay.
Let me give you one example.
Sure.
We are working on what we call in-cabin sensing. In-cabin sensing is as simple as understanding what is happening in the car while driving. Why do we do that? Because when the car will run autonomously, we need to know how many people are in the car. Are they tired? Are they looking at the car? Are they looking at their mobile phone? Are they reading something? What their mood? And do we have a child inside the car for Euro NCAP purposes and so on and so forth? And just telling that require, of course, that we put in-game a lot of different technologies, but for the user, the function should be simple.
Yeah.
The technology underneath is complex, and you need to combine airbag information, braking system, ADAS functions, display, cameras, face recognition, processing power to take the right insight and information and decision whenever necessary. And that is something you can do it very bad, or you can do it ultimately nice for the user. And doing this, you can also offer to people content on demand.
Yeah.
Location-based services depending on their mood and their habits. And then you create uniqueness.
Got it, got it. So, you know, given there is so much of components at play and the game is changing, what role do you see collaborations and partnerships play in this next strategy of Continental in particular? And can you share some examples, you know, of some successful partnerships that you have entered into or are thinking of that would really help you, you know, become you know, stronger in this next gen of automotive technology?
At all steps of that stack, from hardware to cloud, we have a settled partnership. Just from hardware to virtualize components, we work with Synopsys. We as well have a partnership with AWS for cloud infrastructure, helping us to move from cloud development and virtual development. We partner as well with Google for LLM when it comes to cockpit solutions to offer intuitive and AI-based conversation model to the user, which is amazing. When you look at the difference you can get as a user into your car, it's day and night with any type of system you can see on the market now. Just to give some example, we have also plenty other partnership, but there is, I would say, no real limits. It's what do we want to achieve and how to achieve best. Do we do it ourselves? Is that something that exists? Therefore, we partner, we integrate, and we find common grounds.
Got it, got it. So, you know, you've been a lifelong auto enthusiast, technologist at heart. Given the pace of innovation that's happening, how do you promote this culture of innovation and the culture where it's okay to fail, right? There is an element of saying fear of failure generally. You have a very large set of engineers across the globe. What do you as a CTO do to encourage them to be able to innovate in this new world?
There are innovation, in fact, two important phases. The first one, where we need to accept the uncertainty. We need to accept that not every type of innovation will come to a result. Result being starting a proof of concept, engaging with customer, and dealing with a business afterwards. But at least we learn. We learn a lot. We learn what we should probably not repeat, and we learn something that will help us next time to be faster and stronger. And that is a phase where it's accepted to fail. The limit, of course, is sometimes we would like to do more, and we have to make some trade-off between different opportunities. But that phase, I think it's well understood. The topic which is more important is how, from the good idea which start to become a real interesting point, how we can go fast into a product execution, because during the first phase, it's relatively free in terms of culture of failure. When it's come to something we all believe we should invest on, we need to go fast because that is the secret sauce to be successful and having a product before the competition on the market. And that is where we need to sometime bring people from different horizon and organization which have the right competencies to help us and go fast on the market. And here, it's a change of culture. We need to put the speed of execution in the essence of our business. And we have as well, like any other company, always to ask ourselves, do we have the right processes? Can we speed up here or there? And we have plenty of projects right now to improve the quality of speed, to go fast in production, because we have observed as well that if we look to Asia, China in particular, where we have big business, and we also learn from that culture of speed, we had to learn, and I think we are on a pretty good track now to also convince our internal stakeholder, our external customers, that they have good recipe on how to decide fast, how to settle the requirements, and how to come to production in a by far faster way than before.
Okay, so I guess this is learning in progress, right? You and I were talking a little while earlier about this Vision 2030 report that BCG and NASSCOM did around the ER&D segment. The 5 mega trends that we identified, were around digital engineering, around Gen AI, the entire idea of sustainability, and obviously this element of skill and population inversion, which is creating a shortage, if you would, of talent, especially in major Western markets, right? As a business leader, right, and particularly the one that drives technology for the organization, what do you see are the main elements of contribution that you think your tech center in India is going to drive for you today and going forward?
Yeah, basically, you have in your study summarized what is as well in our brain. Globally, I would like to start with sustainability, because it will affect as well the way mobility will exist in the future. Therefore, we have, of course, a mission which is to improve the mobility, but a duty which is to make it sustainable. And at all steps, starting from design down to operation, and then the cycle, afterlife, recyclability, and so on and so forth, we have a duty, a society duty. And this duty is more and more asked by the new generation joining us. Hey guys, it's not only what can I do fancy in the company, but what is your purpose? Yeah. Why? What is your claim on sustainability? And that is something that we as a company are taking seriously. We have committed on CO2 reduction and so on and so forth. When it's come to engineering and technology, using digitalization for engineering or Gen AI, we are on the way. It's something that we are progressively roll out. But the last but not least thing, people. People is, at the end of the day, what makes the difference. If we all have the same tool to develop, we say, what is your USP? And that is our people. The USP of a company is the ability to be so attractive that the best one want to join. And the second element is to give future and purpose to our people. It's to train and develop our employees, and I'm very pleased that we have installed in Bangalore our software and engineering academy, where we have trained thousands of engineers in the past years to make them, let's say, up to date in terms of technology, moving from traditional software development to cloud development, for example, training around artificial intelligence, complex system management, understanding complex integration stuff, that people, when entering at Continental, do not come for a job. They come from a career. And that is a way to succeed in that war for talent that we can read in news. I have not the magic recipe. We, of course, work with university to make sure that the program of training in location in different regions we are present fits to what we do believe will be the mega trend or the trend in our industry. We are very close as well to startups, also in India, but also in other regions, to make sure that we connect with the right companies. But training, university, supporting programs, supporting as well challenge with young generation in university are all the elements, ingredients we have set to make sure that we will get our best talent. What we have done as well, and we'd like to remark this, especially in Bangalore, is huge efforts to be an attractive employer for people, for the one to stay. We have a pretty low fluctuation rate now, which is highly appreciated. That proves as well that people recognize the effort done by us as organization and our local colleagues, management and HR together. But it's a never-ending story.
Yeah.
I have not magic. We need to fight and make sure that people feel good, that we give them perspective and purpose.
Yeah. I'll come back to the talent point, but I wanted one extra bite from you on sustainability, because I think that's a very important topic. From a innovation and from a delivery lens, and what you do from a net zero perspective is different. But as the industry evolves, how do you see sustainability get woven into if you would, the next gen of cars? There's obviously the ICE versus EV part of it. But besides that, as Gen AI comes in and there is a larger move of, as you said, the softwareization of the car, how is that play going to work, not just for you, but for the broader auto industry?
Well, but basically, you can, in all the steps, technology step we envision, you could find a good reason how it could contribute positively to sustainability. Let me give you one a basic example. Just by simulating ADAS system using synthetic data training model on a virtual environment, you can simulate millions of driven kilometers in seconds or minutes.
Yeah.
And then you don't drive 1,000 kilometers. If I take a good example on product where the technology helps, we have put on the market solution called eHorizon, which is electronic, which is hardware and a software solution embedding a digital map that help 80%, because we have 80% of the car equipped with these technologies, the truck to change the right gear depending on the slope of the road. It's 30% fuel saving. Yeah. That is not emission of CO2. But we have to do more. There are domains where we are working on different materials that we want to bring into our cars. Our colleagues of Continental are very active in that, offering recycled materials that require less CO2 to be produced. But we need as well to create design for remanufacturing, design for sustainability, how to create a product where I can disassemble the raw material in an easier way and I can recycle the product. When we speak about display, for example, when we speak about caliper into our car, how to use a different supply chain of material which has been recycled, needing less CO2. We are preparing a concept that we'll show later in the year, where we can show you what is our vision on making a product designed for sustainability. And it's a change of mindset as well, because we also come to our customer and say, that are the requirements, but if you give more priority on sustainability, we could do the product in a different way. And I'm sure that the end user as well are sensible with that argument, and more we will get some claim on the market. I buy more this car because of the sustainability value that is giving to me, and that is something which is now part of our reflection and strategy when it comes to product development.
And let me now link actually the talent question, because I'm sure the passion you bring towards sustainability becomes a good attractive point for a lot of the young generation of today as well. So from a context of innovation, you look at the global talent pool, that you work with and you try to recruit from. What is some of their drivers, and in particular, since we're sitting in India, how have you seen the talent pool in India change that you were hiring from earlier to what it is today, and the kind of work that they're doing and the approach that they bring to driving innovation, for Continental?
Since my last visit in Bangalore, and I had the opportunity to talk with many of our colleagues here in the location, we clearly see the increased maturity of people standing, questioning, explaining in depth what they do and why they do it, how they do it, having a more systematic and systemic understanding of the surrounding, being proud of being in charge of for a customer, which has been in the beginning more as a kind of support location for other big one, and we see that the responsibility and the capability to take more responsibility there. And I think it's the most important element when joining Continental against other players. You do not come to make a piece of something that you do not always understand. We can give you big perspective. We can as well make you develop yourself to a larger role. And the next step, which we don't do enough. And we took it for us is we want to have also global roles into the company, emerging out of a location like Bangalore, which is one of our biggest R&D center in the world. And I'm used the opportunity to thank all of our colleagues making that location and the activity in India so successful.
Great. No conversation today is complete without the magic word of Gen AI, Gilles, but I know it can be a long dialogue, but a very brief comment about, how much of this is real in terms of today, and, where is this really from your lens within Continental, where are you seeing the most impactful use cases?
First of all, since I would not say decade, but many years, we have set AI as a core of our strategy around two pillars. We want to make AI successful company, and we want to make AI-based successful product. Successful company is to look at all steps of our activity, purchasing, supply chain, controlling, HR processes, and see where do we need the support of AI to be more successful, more agile, and of course, at the end of the day, less costly. And we have seen during the component shortage that using AI to forecast units would have probably helped the industry to produce more and to get less issue in supply chain. And we have adopted this to forecast on the mid and long term and to get better perspective and to better plan what we will need to produce and what we will need to order. But AI into our product development is as well automatizing the requirement reading, aggregation to different domains. We have now a co-pilot solution in software development, and we expect out of that a significant improvement, not only in the speed to develop software, but in the quality of the output and the speed in testing unitary tests, especially on software module, in a faster way than before, reducing non-quality, increasing the output. We also use artificial intelligence to test complex software because the number of branches, the number of use cases you need to cope with sometimes exceed what a human brain can really think, and we can automatize and speed up the execution and get a better result at the order. So at the end, it will help us to make better product. Gen AI, we also use it in autonomous driving environment to test, retrain our algorithm, complex situation on a worldwide basis. We are pioneer in level 4 truck activity with Aurora in the US, and its collaboration work with Aurora and different partners where data-driven approach is applied systematically. We get data, we train our algorithm, we deliver the day after an update, and continuously we enrich our product to be ready for SOP in 2027.
Wonderful. I know we're running a little short in time, so I'll try to be quick and brief with the questions and answers, but couple more. I know you've had commercial stints in your life as well, even though you come back from engineering background. Let's talk about the India market, and sort of in India, but made for India and the world, right? What are your thoughts about, what's the product offering or something that you're thinking about the way the Indian market has evolved? And I'm not talking about ADAS in India yet. I'll come to that in a second. But from a Continental standpoint, any thoughts about where you can make for India or make in India for the world?
We basically do a lot in India, for India and for the world already, in many of our components. And when we speak about innovation, innovation is also to combine existing technologies to create something which is more usable, smaller in packaging, faster on the market. And with innovation I have seen so far, we have plenty of ideas in the market for the market that are well set and fitting exactly to the market. The market is also evolving in India with, let's say, more entry-mid cars, but as well the willingness to also come in a more premium segment. And that is where I think we need to have in the market, for the market, great people understanding it and also creating business opportunity. Business opportunity, when the business case is positive, it's always a good business opportunity. And there is no one else better than people locally understanding, living the market to make it happen. The additional added value we have in that location, all of our competency in different business areas are there. Therefore, when you want to combine technologies together, reusing some element that you can assemble to create something which is exactly fitting to the market, let's do it.
Yeah.
And that is where we give the freedom to act, the freedom to operate, and usually it's proved to work.
I can imagine something around the two-wheeler market, where there's a lot of opportunity from a safety standpoint to bring some of that to bear. Let's talk.
Let me give you one example.
Sure.
We have radar, and now we have solutions for front radar and rear radar for two-wheelers. Just driving today around the city makes me sure that we have a good market for that.
Wonderful. Well, let's take this point to say ADAS, level 4. Half the world having that. When is that going to happen?
10 years ago, everyone was telling in 5 years, everyone will drive autonomously. You will, I will have to apologize, but I will not make this prediction. The thing which is, I think, extremely valid and right, we will see level 4 coming in different type of markets. Means the first one will probably be in the trucking area because there is a clear business case. You get the driver out of equation, which is anyhow a problem in the US because there is not enough people. And this one is exactly what we are driving with the project of Aurora. Clear path, clear deadline, technology is known. We now test and validate the system to be ready. And the business case is there because you can sell the functions and the business case is clear. When it comes to a vehicle, we see that the approach, which was originally, let's make a level 3 or level 4, was too complex. Therefore, the solution have been breakdown into steps, which I think is the right approach by reinforcing the safety regulation with different package and functions where we can test and mature the algorithm. And there will be a next step where you need to go from the level 2 that we call level 2 plus to level 3. And there is still a way to go. And I think if we really want to go that way, we need as well to make sure that we can test in public road, that we can extend the experimentation, capture data, learn from the doing, and to get the algorithm with the right maturity. The second thing which was not ready at that time 10 years ago is the ability to use the virtual environment to test and mature the system. That will give us a huge opportunity to speed up. Last but not least, and that is a job for engineers, is to make a solution at the right cost to get acceptance for the market. And I think we will see in the years to come, let's say, combining elements, integrating technologies where we probably will come to more affordable price for the situation. Yeah. But it's still a long way to go because making a proof of concept or a demo car, it's easy. Making all corner cases fixed is a different topic. And for us, being safety-based company, we cannot put on the market something that is not safety proven.
No, and that's why I said half the world, because I understand we made progress, but the point of inflection is still some ways away. Let me end the podcast with a rapid fire question, just one-word answers very quickly. 3 things, Gilles. Favorite country to visit, and you can't say India, Germany, or France.
Japan.
Japan. Favorite food to eat?
Seafood.
Seafood, okay. And favorite sport you follow, and I'm sorry for the current Euro Cup final lineup, but nonetheless, besides
I would
football.
say rugby now.
Rugby now. Okay, wonderful. Gilles, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I want to wish you and the Continental teams across the globe the very best in your innovation journey, and I look forward to catching up with you again sometime soon.
Thank you very much.